Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And you have been following my mods, you will know that I have always been using primarily the NH series movement. And today we're going to talk about something that is the real game changer for modders and enthusiasts alike, which is the Seiko NH34 movement. Now I know this movement have been in this area for some time, but I'll just like to share with everyone, especially the beginners who are new to this hobby. So this little workhorse finally actually gives us something that many have been asking for, and it's not just another NH35 or NH36. So let's dive in. So first off, what exactly is this NH34 movement? Well, think of it as Seiko's answer to a budget-friendly GMT movement in the market. Now for years, the NH35 and NH36 were the go-to automatic movements for modders because they are reliable, hackable, hand-windable, and most importantly, affordable. But what was missing is a true GMT function. Not until recently, if you wanted a GMT Seiko build, your options were limited to really expensive in-house calibers like the 4R34. Or you in fact have to look outside Seiko entirely. The NH34, however, changes all of that. In terms of specs, this is of course an automatic movement with GMT complication, and that means it has 4 hands: the hour, minutes, seconds, and the 24-hour GMT hand. Of course, this comes with a date wheel as well. The frequency, as per the NH34 manual, it's at 21,600 beats per hour, with an approximate power reserve of around 41 to 42 hours when it's wind fully. There's 24 jewels in the movement, and it is of course hackable and allows for hand winding. The accuracy of this movement based on a factory spec is around -20 to +40 seconds per day, though the regulated ones can run at a much tighter variance. Now what sets this movement apart is the extra GMT hand. You can independently set the GMT hand to track a second time zone, or even use it as an AM/PM indicator. For frequent travelers, that's a big deal, and for modders, it means a whole new world of dial and handset possibilities. Watch till the end where I will go through how you can actually set this to another time zone and how you can use this GMT function on your NH34 watches. Price point wise, in the past few years, you could have actually gotten one of these movements for around $50 or even lower. However, in recent times, I would assume because of tariffs or even supply chain crunch, or more and more people are joining this hobby, NH34 are now pricing at a little bit of a premium. Sometimes I see up to even $90 per piece. So I've linked in the description below the ones that I always buy from, which sometimes offer discounts, and using some of these vouchers you can actually push the price to a more affordable point. So feel free to get a couple and keep them and experiment them along the way. I also want to point out that in this NH34 GMT function, this is actually a collar GMT and not a flyer GMT. That means that you adjust the GMT hand independently and not the local hour hand. So for most of us, especially in mods, that's totally fine with it. But I just wanted to point out to anyone in case you compare it to some of the higher end GMT's movement. So pros and cons. Pros wise, I think this is an extremely affordable entry into the GMT movement watch. It's fully compatible with your NH35, NH36 parts ecosystem, except for the dial. So because the dial, the center hole for NH34 has to be larger to allow for the GMT hand to be put in. So remember to always look for one that is compatible. Otherwise, you can always use a simple tool to just make the center hole a little bit bigger to cater to the GMT hand. This is also reliable and easy to service and expands modding possibilities massively. Cons wise, perhaps the accuracy might be a bit rough and require some regulation when it comes out of the box. And like I've mentioned, this is a collar GMT, not a flyer GMT. So I want to quickly show you how can you use this NH34 and its accompanying function. So I have a very simple mod here that I've made previously. And you can see usually NH34, the outer bezel, it's on a 24-hour markers. So to use it, simply unwind the crown, and when it pops, this is the winding position. By turning it in a clockwise motion, you are actually winding the watch. This is the same as any NH series movement. So by pulling it out by one step, you are able to adjust the GMT hand independently by turning it clockwise. And by turning it anti-clockwise, you'll be able to adjust the date wheel. So this is the first step of the crown. By pulling out by another step, 2 steps out from the winding position, the second hand in this case is hacked, and therefore you are able to now adjust the time more accurately. So the minute, hour, and the GMT hand in this case will move together. So how do you actually track the second time zone? So assuming that where you're based at, it's currently 6 o'clock. So 2 steps out from the winding position, you're able to manually adjust the time to 6 o'clock as shown. Next, push it back by 1 step, such that it's 1 step off the winding position, and you are able to independently control the GMT function. And assuming where you are at, you want to track a time zone that is reflecting 4 p.m. So the GMT hand actually reference the outer bezel in this case, which is a 24-hour bezel, and hence move it to the 1600-hour marker. So by that logic, the GMT hand only needs to go 1 round around the dial for the date to flick by 1. So now I'm resetting everything back to the 12 midnight point. Next, how do you track how do you use the GMT hand as an AM PM indicator? So same thing, 2 steps out from the crown, and assuming that the current time it's 5 p.m. So there you have it. The GMT hand actually reflects 1700 hours, which is 5 p.m. in this case. So you are able to use this as both to track a second time zone, and for you to be able to show the AM and PM time indicator. So in short, the Seiko NH34 movement is one that a lot of us have been playing with, and there's actually a couple of creative builds out there because these offer an extremely affordable GMT option to the morning table. In fact, I've got a couple of GMT builds planned for this channel, so if you want to see them come to life, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of them out. And a perhaps question and food for thought for you. What kind of GMT mod will you build with the NH34? Is this something dressy, rugged traveler's watch, or maybe even a stealthy daily beater? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas and perhaps try 1 or 2 out myself. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next mod.